Welcome to this channel. The channel is for education and culture based on historical and scientific evidence. So lately, many of our Kung Fu friends have messaged me asking me which of my book they should get in order to study the breathing and intra-abdominal pressure content, which is I have presented in my previous videos. So I pointed to this book of mine, The Decoding Wing Chun. Okay, I released it this year in Amazon.com. Now, today I like to share with you, it is very serious that all of serious Kung Fu, Neigong, Qigong, Wing Chun, Chinese martial arts friends need to study this Decoding Wing Chun book. Really serious. This is the Physics 101 book in Chinese Kung Fu. Now, this is the first book and the only book today which can give you a clear picture on what is going on scientifically in the Chinese Kung Fu training, be it in Wing Chun, in Neigong, or in Qigong, or in other martial arts. Now, you might then question me, right? Hendrik, are you bullshitting? The first book and the only book today? Yes, it is the first book and the only book today will give you the education you need. No grandmaster in this world be able to give you what is sharing in that book, in the Decoding Wing Chun. Am I serious? Yes. If you go to China, for example, there are still some advanced grandmaster who know the content which I put on this book, okay? But these grandmasters are really, really, really rare. Most 99.9% of people have no idea what is the content of this Chinese ancient teaching on breathing and intra-abdominal pressure in Qigong, Neigong, and the fighting art. They don't. But there are still older generations grandmaster in China know that. Okay, because in that book I am actually presenting what is actually taught in the ancient China, the system. Now, another part of the book is what is today's modern medical science and sports science. So in the book, we took the ancient teaching of the Chinese, we map it into today's sports science, medical science, and we make it trackable, traceable, verifiable scientifically. Now, when you get to this far, you know this is the only book. The ancient teaching of the Chinese in China, there might be some very rare grandmaster know it, but he for sure don't know the Western today's sports science and medical science. And as for the medical science and sports science today, the Olympic trainer know that, but they don't know what is in the ancient Chinese teaching. And this book combine, fuse them together and to show the world what it is. That's why it is the first and only book. And of course, I have to spend the kids and spend a lot of money to do experiment, to learn, to get this far. Now, Let me share with you something really important, where most people only know the surface. For example, the breathing, we always heard about everybody saying that, oh, externally train the muscle, the sinews, the bone, internally train the breathing. And as in the Shaolin saying, it said, if one don't practice breathing, no matter how good the martial art techniques are, it will be useless. This is a Shaolin teaching. But what is breathing? What is breathing? Somebody will say, what is qi? Oh, it's this internal, but what is it? How to get there? How to verify it? It is like if I tell you, oh, this is the best sport car, then you might say, well, Hendrik, how can I buy this sport car? How can I own it? But in Chinese martial arts circle, in the Neigong, Qigong circle, in the Wing Chun circle, until today, nobody tell you what is going on. So we just always heard about the ideas, the concept, but what is it? Then everybody interpret whatever it is. Well, it turns out that the breathing training in the ancient Chinese as a common denominator, there are 3 types of training of the breathing. So there are 3 types of breathing training there. The first is the qi nourishing training, belong to the rest or recovery type training. This type of training using the subtle breathing. So what is the subtle breathing? That is, subtle breathing is needed for the recovery type of training. And then the second is you need the common breathing, which is for the fitness or aerobic training today, our Western terminology, the aerobic training. So what is the common breathing? And then there is the windy breathing, which is for strengthening training. In today, the sports science term is like belong to the lactate threshold and anaerobic training. So you have the 3 types of training: subtle breathing, common breathing, and windy breathing. And within that, there are different details under that each type of the breathing. Like in the windy breathing, you train for stamina and you train for fighting are 2 types of breathing training. They still belong to the windy breathing, but there are 2 types of breathing there need to be known, need to be trained. Or else, how are we going to supposed to be able to execute to develop the skill? And if you want to recovery, you need to get into the subtle breathing. Or else you will be trained, but you will not be able to do recovery. And even in today's sports science, you need to have a balance between training and recovery. And as for the common breathing, you need to build the aerobic base, aerobic endurance, so that you'll be able to support this lactate threshold type of training, which is using the windy type of breathing. So it is not just, externally train the bone muscle and sinews, internally train the breathing, or internally train the qi. Do you know that breathing and the qi, there's so many things there? Well, by the way, this is all from the book, the Decoding Wing Chun, okay? And also, this type of thing is like, if you don't have the common breathing handle, you must not go to the windy training, according to ancient Chinese. And today, we can prove that too. If you don't have enough aerobic training, you will get into aerobic deficiency syndrome if you just go rush into this strengthening training. So this is all is what we need to face technically. You want to train in Wing Chun or other Chinese martial arts or Qigong, Neigong, we better be able to face this. If we don't know about this, what are we doing? Keeping saying externally train bone, sinews, muscle, internally train the breathing, train the qi, and somebody come in and say, it's qi. Qi is life force. It's breathing. And then qi is energy. And you say, what happened? So after what? After past hundreds of years until today, most people have no idea what it is. But just saying, well, it become a disaster. Now, that part exists in ancient China, the training of this three type of breathing. And so as what I just shared with you, it can map into today's sports science. And even that is not enough because we need to have this. We need to have scientific tracking. Okay, so this is a part of the Decoding Wing Chun book. Effective training is well-defined, measurable, trackable, and repeatable training. Being well-defined means knowing the purpose and the nature of training, its intensity, and the expected outcomes of the training. Measurable means being able to measure training intensity. Traceability refers to being able to track performance of each training session. Thus, specific training can be analyzed, correction can be made if necessary, reproducibility refer to ability to repeat the same type of training with high quality. You want to go up to the ring, you better be able to do that. You want to help your body to recover, you better be able to do that. You cannot say, well, I just do it this way. I do like, we all know, like in the Wing Chun, people say, yeah, just practice your Xiu Lim Tao, and then some days you will get it. When you look around from here right now up to 1870, when they create this today's Xiu Lim Tao sets, who have developed that? You see zero. Okay, all of this. So you need to have a scientific tracking. So being able to scientifically measure training effect will provide detailed insight that can greatly improve the quality and methods of traditional Chinese martial training. This is very different from the past personal opinion based on subjective estimates. You cannot say, hey, in my interpretations, you breathe okay. In my interpretation, you don't breathe okay. And then based on me, according to this lineage, according to this Shifu, according to what? But then right now, I just share with you, there are subtle breathing, common breathing, windy breathing, and each of them depend on what you want to do, like even in the strengthen the windy breathing. You want to train in sprinting, the breathing is very different than you want to go train to the ring for fight. So if we do not know all this content, we do not be able to track it scientifically. What the heck are we doing? See, I don't discount that in the ancient China, there are grandmasters who know all this and be able to spot if their student is doing well or not, properly trained or not. But most today in Chinese Kung Fu, in Wing Chun, it is not. It is a mess. And people don't even know what they are getting into. So the best thing is not about, I'm the grandmaster, I have a new lineage. No, put everything, everybody into science. So you need to be able to measure the thing trackable and be able to repeat the training. Unless you can do that, you don't have the skill. Sorry. So that's why you need to be able to show what you train with your heart rate variability, your heart rate variability, your breathing rate. Talk about breathing, right? Your breathing rate, your maximum heart rate, your endurance, your VO2 max. So all this training, the three type of training, under the strengthening, the fitness, or the martial art training, and the nurture tree training over here. Okay. The recovery type training, the fitness training, the strengthening training. This strengthening training is the martial art training. All this training, you have to map into your heart rate zone. You need to know exactly what you are doing. And so you'll be able to get into any states you need. You need to recovery, you get into this state. You need to go fighting, you need to go this state. You need to do your aerobic endurance, you need to do that. Now, if you don't have the aerobic endurance, you're going to ruin your body. So as what I shared the other day, I said, if I can do time travel to 60 years before, today is 2023, if I can do a time travel to 60 years ago, which is 1963 or 1964, here I'm living in San Jose. If I do time traveling 60 years ago, I just drove down to Oakland with this book and show Bruce Lee. Bruce, this is what we know 60 years later. This is what you want to follow. So I can see you 60 years later. But because we don't have this, he don't have this. 60 years is a long time in Western science development. And for us to be able to dig out all the ancient Chinese teaching. This is the thing, the it that everybody need to know as the basic. So everybody be able to get the tracker. Right now you have Garmin tracker, really, really inexpensive, hundreds of something dollar. You don't have to buy the newest, the best. Like this is the Phoenix 7 Pro. You don't have to do that. You just have to buy, this is 7s, and you can buy, say, last year's model or the year before model. You will have a very good instrument which can help you to measure what I shared with you just now. So all these things you can now be measured with Garmin, not the highest, the best model. No, today's $100-something you can get this very good already. So in the book Decoding Wing Chun, everything is there. Okay. And of course, with this intra-abdominal pressure stuff, it is in the book. It is in the Decoding Wing Chun in Amazon. Now I wrote that because Chinese Kung Fu have reached a point. It is a dead end. If we don't open up or crush the wall that people have been building power up for so long that we don't see what happened in the real world, we don't see what is the reality anymore. So the Decoding Wing Chun is the first book in this world. Even people in China, if they don't like it, they can show us the evidence if they have this far. And now it's like the pattern in Silicon Valley. Do you have this pattern? Now, at this time. Now we have already have it in America. So nobody need to suffer. Nobody need to go, well, travel to this Asia or anything to learn this and learn that. And then from this grandmaster paying $10,000 for this. No, you can have everything. You know everything, which you need to know, like the Physics 101. We need the educations. We need the science. Only that will guarantee us who train in it have a healthy body. We can achieve our goal. We know our limitations. And if we have that, we can improve our art. It doesn't matter, it's Wing Chun, is whatever Chinese martial art, or it is Qigong, it is Neigong, it is meditations. Because you have the base, you'll be able to improve it. And you'll be able to do what you talk. Without this, I don't even know what you can do. It's been like if you yesterday I just watched a video, a YouTube make in Hong Kong, talking about Bruce Lee after he fought the other Chinese Kung Fu opponent in Bay Area. Bruce Lee feel really frustrated. Doesn't feel like he have stamina, according to that video. And so Bruce Lee said, okay, forget about it. I'm going to do this training. So like Wing Chun, for what, 60 years, Bruce Lee already complained about it. But nobody do anything about it. There's no science there. There is no education there. You expect magic to happen? Sorry, for until now, 60 years later, there's no magic to happen. In fact, people don't know what is their breathing. You look at those people who practice Yu Lim Tao. So what type of breathing that should be used? Is that the windy breathing? Is that the common breathing? Is that the subtle breathing? You look at all the grandmaster, they don't know. This is a serious problem. So I'm here not to attack people. I'm here to say that, hey man, you guys have a serious problem. If you don't solve this, the entire thing collapses. What good is that? So this is what I like to share with you. Yes, this is the first time in the history we do this. And in America, we have already have this technology. Sure, people in Asia can see whatever I do here as a challenge. Well, that's good. This is called constructive competition challenge. It's like in Silicon Valley, one company come up with a new invention. The other competitor have to catch up or invent something more, better. The entire technology is keeping doing this constructive competition so that it keeping grow. It is not like in the video I watched yesterday on this person talk about, he's a karateka, he's talk about the Bruce Lee, he's talk about Bruce Lee is out of shape at that time, really frustrated on what his performance. And you look around for 60 years, he's still doing the same what Bruce Lee is frustrated. That no wonder Bruce Lee is saying that, hey, Chinese Kung Fu, including Wing Chun, is land swimming. I'm out of it. I'm going to do my Jeet Kune Do. I'm going to train my running and all this thing. 60 years later, today, we have the informations on the ancient Chinese, in the ancient Wing Chun. We have the sports science. We can do better. Not about those, I'm the grandmaster. I can fight better than you. I can beat you. That is useless. What it needs is to educate so everybody improve, everybody get the skill. We improve. the entire martial art style or lineage. Or else it is when Bruce Lee 60 years ago already said this is a land swimming. 60 years later, it is continues to be a land swimming. Because you don't do nothing about it. You're just keeping belief and keeping doing whatever the old thing, the same thing, and you get this keeping getting the same thing. So this is what I like to share with you. I speak straight with you. Why? Because it is not me who is important. It is you who is important. I retire already. I might die soon. But you stay here. Are you going to stuck in whatever the land swimming 60 years ago and go nowhere? That's wasting of life.